So we're leaving the Mayan ruins, and instead of making a right, we go straight. We're talking and talking and talking, and we get distracted. All of a sudden, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's nighttime, and we're driving through little town after little town after little town. There are no cars, there are no people. It's nighttime, it's getting kind of spooky, and we're running out of gas. We were like in the middle of nowhere. And we get to this little town, and like my brother's rented car, we were in two different cars. My brother's rented car is like on vapors. Like he was like not gonna make it. So we pull into this little town, and we don't see anybody, and we're trying to figure out like, what are we gonna do? We see a guy on a bicycle, and we ask the guy, we're looking for a gas station. And he's like, gas station? There are no gas stations out here. And besides, everything closes after dark because the Wolfman is eating people at night. But there's a guy who sells gas down the road. He's like 4 blocks down, make a right, and then the fourth house on the left, like that's where you can buy gas from him. But he sells it out of his house. He doesn't have like a gas station. Okay, all right, thanks. And then my brother's like, okay, did you catch that? It's like, he said 3 blocks down, then to the right, and then the fourth house on the left. I said, what? No, wait a second. Did he just say there's a werewolf after dark that eats people? Well, hello there, my solar-powered humans. Welcome to the Louis Daylights Photography Channel. I'm your host, Louis Daylights, and that little rugrat you see running around near me, I made that. Did I make you? Well, hello there. Welcome to Louis Daylights Photography. I'm your host, I'm your pal, Louis Daylights. Today we're going to talk about a session that I had just about a week ago with some model collaborators, friends, pals that came over to the house to help me out. We're going to be comparing Kodak Gold 200 with Kodak Portra 400. And the goal for today is going to be, can you tell the difference? We're shooting it in medium format with the Mamiya RB 6.7 Pro SD. Aside from that, we're going to continue my summer series of the set that I created in my backyard. Models, clients, and collaborators that have been joining me so far have been up for the challenge of getting beautiful photos, but the challenge for me on the other end is being able to post content on my Instagram without it looking like we shot everybody on the same day, right? So how do I do that? The goal is to shoot at different times so that there's different types of lighting. I also set up my lighting in different types of ways in order to project different styles of lighting. At the same time, try to be unique with the angles and also even with the theme, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons of what went on that day. Look at some behind the scenes footage, so stay tuned. So I'm really excited because there's a lot of growing interest in the video content that I'm creating during this process, and I'm very happy to not only be sharing this information with you during these episodes that I'm shooting, but getting the feedback and the comments makes me feel like I'm part of a community. I do want to explain that there are some behind the scenes footage of the models that I was working with for this shoot. If you're not interested in the digital photography portion, if your main interest are the shots that I took with the Mamiya RB 6.7 Pro SD using the Kodak Gold 200 or the Portra 400, I'm going to stop everything right now. I'm going to ask you to leave. Just kidding. Don't go anywhere. I love you. I need you. We need each other. What I'll do is actually show you the table of contents so you can forward to any portion that you're interested in watching. Now that we got those losers out of the way, those Mamiya RB 6.7 fans and those analog film nerds out of the... Oh, they're still here? Sorry. Guys, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Gulp. I'm really happy that all of you are sticking around though. In fact, so for my digital shots outside at the Sanctuary Home Studio here at home, I have my Canon 5D Mark IV. Got the summer setup outside. The idea was that I would create a set for summer that I would be able to use with different clients throughout the summer and or collaborators. I've been working with a lot of different people, ex-clients that have become collaborators for the love of the craft. A few months ago, I had booked the studio for 3 hours because there were 2 clients that were coming in. I managed to get them lined up to come shoot. Like 3 days before the shoot, they canceled. And so when they canceled, I was scrambling to keep the studio space rental that I had. I was excited to shoot. And you know, if you're a photographer, you like to shoot. You don't want to miss any opportunity. So I went out into my Instagram and there's always willing collaborators that sometimes you kind of keep in the Rolodex for a rainy day. So I reached out to a couple of the models that have shown interest in shooting with me. And a lot of times, even for collabs, you'll book somebody and on the day they can cancel. This has happened. This is just part of it. If you're a photographer and you're shooting with human beings, the human being situation will always be the same. There are cancellations, sometimes at the last minute. Sometimes they just ghost you and don't show up. If it's a collab. If it's a paid gig, obviously they paid a deposit. And if they don't show up, then, you know. In this situation, I was able to find 3 different people who I was interested in getting in the studio to collaborate with. And after those 3, I was concerned that I'd still get cancellations on the day. So as a photographer, this is what I do. I always overbook and try to get as many people as I can. Obviously, you don't want to fill a studio space with 15 potential models that are going to show up. But usually there's a 50% chance that 2 or 3 are going to cancel if you try to get like 5 or 6 people lined up for a particular window of time. And so basically what I did was I reached out to about 5 different people. These were all different models that had different vibes. I had 4 different sets within the studio, some with some backdrops and some that I had created on my own with my theatrical set design history. And basically what happened is they all showed up. And among the girls that showed up was Ireiliz. I had made the offer to Ireiliz. Among them was Michelle. Among them was Abby. Among them was Erica. This was really unusual. I found 5 different people that I thought maybe 3 would cancel, and they all showed up. And this is how that went. At the end of the shoot, I said goodbye to all the ladies. I remember when Ireiliz was leaving, she was probably the youngest of the bunch. And when she was leaving, she came up to me, she extended her hand like she had just done a job interview, and she shook it. And I was like, oh, wow, look at that. Handshake. Nice to meet you, Ireiliz. I hope to see you soon. Once she got the photos, she was really excited. Not so much about the photos, although she was very happy with the photos. She was more pleased and going on about the interaction that we had, the collaborative spirit that we had, easygoing sensibility between photographer and model. I get this a lot. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but they're always very happy with the way that we vibe, right? I keep it friendly, I keep it professional, we have a good time, and I'm very on hands with helping defining the theme, casting the vision for them, and guess what? Models like that, and I like that. And so when we have a nice interaction and we pull off a shoot and the photos look beautiful at the end, obviously they're going to want to come back. Soon after, Ireiliz and I became pals. During the prom season, which was right after I had met her, she made so many referrals. I had one of the best prom seasons that I had ever had. There were a lot of bookings, and it had a lot to do with Ireiliz because a lot of the photos I had taken of her had spread like wildfire through her Instagram, and you know, she's a high school kid, so she knows a million people. I have a special arrangement with Ireiliz, and that is that she refers clients that pay, and she's produced a lot for me. So the arrangement is she produces clients, I hook her up.
picture for the ones that are lost in life. But even dreamers have the power to save a friend. And I know you are afraid that you'll fail again. You can take it to the grave, but it doesn't end with you. In the blue, in the blue. You say you haven't been yourself for a long.
Now we get into my favorite portion of the video, everything that has to do with the Mamiya RB 67 Pro SD. In fact, I think I'm going to start calling this camera the Mamiya RB 68 Pro SD because the 1990 version that I picked up, the Mamiya RB 67 Pro SD, comes with the rotating back and it's motorized. Not only is it motorized, but it comes with a 6x8 frame, which allows for a centimeter in addition to the regular 6x7. That's right, you get that extra centimeter, and for whatever reason it only allows for 9 frames instead of 10 when you're using 120 film format. So here are the shots that I took with Ireiliz and with Lexi, and I think the goal is this: can you identify which is Kodak Portra 400 from Kodak Gold 200? Can you differentiate them? What I'm going to do is I'll show you each photo, and then after a couple of seconds you guess, and then I'll put what it was on the corner somewhere. So if that's the case, let's see. Is there much of a difference? I wouldn't say so. So in any case, those were the photos. I hope that you enjoyed this. The next episode I'm really excited about because I found 2 other models that were clients at first and became collaborators. What's happening now is that I'm putting these videos together, and a lot of my prior clients are seeing them and they're excited about what I'm doing and they want to participate in my videos. So I'm excited to be able to bring past clients and turn them into collaborators for the fact that I'm shooting these videos with my Mamiya RB67 Pro SD or the Mamiya RB68 Pro SD, right? Because it's the rotating back 6x8. Anyways, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Papa.